Corsairs are attacking Dol Amroth to cover Sahir's escape to Umbar. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, my progression-style playthrough series of the Lord of the Rings, the card game. Here I am playing the 5th quest from the Dream Chaser cycle, A Storm on Cobas Haven. So, firstly, I don't want to mulligan either of these hands. See, this, I have a couple of cheap allies to start with, healing available, a little bit of extra card draw. It's a reasonable start. And over here, really my mulligan card is Steward of Gondor, but on top of that, Captain's Wisdom, so I can immediately play Steward of Gondor, is just great. Visionary Leadership is nice to start with, a couple of allies. It's all good. So, for the quest setup, prepare the Corsair deck. It is, of course, here. We will also need a special Corsair discard pile. Players prepare their fleet. So, okay, I don't need the rules. You take the heading card. Let's take it over here. Now, as you know, part of the Line Unbroken is that I try to use all of the different player cards, and I'm applying the same principle to the ships. So, of course, the Dream Chaser is compulsory. I have used the Dawn Star, I have used Naralenya, so I have to make use of Silverwing, and I have specifically built around this. So I'm taking Silverwing for the first deck. Immune to player card effects, Sentinel ranged, 2/4/2/14. Reduce your starting threat by 3, so I go down to 28. Each hero you control gets +1 attack, and note, the ships are encounter cards, so beyond being immune to player card effects does not apply. He does get +1 attack, so he is 6 attack right from the start. Natia is 3, Boromir is 4. So, search the encounter deck for Raider Flagship and 1 copy of Scouting Ship and add them to the staging area. Search the encounter deck for a Dol Amroth objective of your choice and add it to the staging area. Then shuffle the encounter deck and resolve the guarded keyword on that objective. So here we have the Raider Flagship. 3/5/3/18, boarding 1, immune to player card effects. Only ship objectives can be declared as attackers against Raider Flagship. Forced at the end of the encounter phase, the engaged player reveals the top card of the Corsair deck and engages it. Obviously, that only applies if we actually engage the flagship, which we will at some point, probably, but, well, definitely at some point, but not until we're ready for it. And Scouting Ship, of course, we have seen before. And then here we have these 4 objectives. They're all guarded. If they are free of encounters, add them to the staging area controlled by the players. So the Tower of the Heron reduces the archery total by 4. The Beacon, planning action. Exhaust it and spend 5 resources to take control of 1 set-aside copy of Dol Amroth warship. Which are these. Yes, it did mention that. Set each copy of Dol Amroth warship aside out of play. If the Tower of the Gull, exhaust it to deal 2 damage to a non-unique ship enemy. And Seaward Tower, look at 2 additional cards from the top of the encounter deck during each sailing test. Now, this is the one that is generally recommended as the starting objective. I think I would definitely never choose to start with either of these, but making sailing tests easier obviously is fairly significant. However, I am not going to go for that. Partly because I want to demonstrate that you can manage just fine without the Seaward Tower, and partly because the Beacon is the one you really want to go for if you want to win the naval battle, because getting the Dol Amroth warships can make a big deal in that respect, And that is kind of what I'm gearing up to do with Silverwing. I want to take down the flagship, and not just quest to victory. So, we shuffle the other 3 objectives back into the encounter deck, and then resolve the guarded keyword on the beacon, revealing a light cruiser. Okay. That's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit high threat to be starting in the staging area, but we will deal with it. So, sailing. When a ship enemy engages you, if you are off course, deal 2 damage to a ship objective you control. If you are on course, deal 2 damage to that ship enemy instead. If your current heading is at the worst setting, raid a flagship gets minus 50 engagement cost. And with that, Control N, we begin the game. Okay, and of course this deck draws a second card for Círdan, Envoy of Pelargir. Okay, I think I'm going to discard the Weaver. Now, okay, so in the resource phase, I play Captain's Wisdom. Exhaust a noble hero you control to add 2 resources to that hero's resource pool. So I exhaust Boromir, add 2 resources. Now we get into the planning phase. I can immediately play Steward of Gondor onto Boromir and exhaust it, so I get back to the number of resources I started with. Now I could immediately play Visionary Leadership, but it wouldn't be that useful at this point. So instead I'm going to pay 2 for a Pelargir ship captain. After he enters play, move 1 resource from the resource pool of a hero you control to another hero's resource pool. I'm going to move a resource from Boromir to Bjorn. Now note, again, Bjorn is immune to player card effects, but we have had a ruling more recently that a hero's resource pool is not the same as the hero. So Bjorn is immune to player card effects, his resource pool is not, so it's fine to move his resources around, because they are not technically part of him. It seems a bit odd, but that is the ruling we got, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Because, of course, significantly, Nasia. Resources in Nasia's resource pool cannot be used to pay for allies. So I want to play an ally. It's Honor Guard. I need to pay for it from Bjorn. Okay, I'm just realizing I should have done this first, just in case I draw a Deep Knowledge. I did not draw a Deep Knowledge, so it doesn't matter. I have to choose my discard. These are all pretty good cards. I guess I'm going to ditch the Envoy. So yeah, if I had drawn a Deep Knowledge, then I would have played it, and then obviously this deck would have drawn more cards which might have affected what I wanted to play over here. But I didn't, so it doesn't matter. Now here, obviously I'm going to play Yoreth, because she's free. Gather Information, because it's free. And Willpower is going to be significant, so Galadriel's Handmaiden, and drop this deck's threat by 1. Actually, maybe... No, I take back the Envoy. I'm going to discard the Weaver. Obviously they are potentially useful, but in this instance... And so then I can pay 2 for the Envoy, adding a resource back to Éowyn, and then pay 2 for Galadriel's Handmaiden, and drop this deck's threat by 1. Thus getting the maximum amount of stuff into play. So, at the start of the quest phase, we have to do a sailing test. Now, I'm probably not going to be engaging any enemies this round, at least that's the plan. I need to get more allies into play so that I can sail better without using the Dream Chaser, but at the moment, if I am not planning to engage enemies, then I don't need the Dream Chaser to defend. Obviously, Silverwing can defend against ships, but it's not so good at it, with only 2 defense. So, okay, certainly I exhaust the Honor Guard and the Pelagia ship captain. Nasia, that's 3, and I suppose in case I am forced into an engagement, I'll keep Bjorn up. And Silverwing. But I will send the Dream Chaser, so I'm sailing for 5. Okay. 3 wheels in there, so I'm still on course. I will quest to gather information. I don't know if I'll get through it, but we'll see. So, there's 9 threat in the staging area, not the most auspicious start. But okay. 4, 8, 10, 12, 13. Yeah, I don't really expect to get through this right away. And we reveal a siege ship. Archery 2 cannot have attachments while it's in the staging area. It gains forced at the end of the quest phase. If siege ship is not guarding an objective and there is an unguarded objective in the staging area, attach siege ship to that objective guarding it. And the Seaward Tower, which is guarded by Starlit Sea. Okay, so that's added 5 threat to the staging area. I'm currently failing the quest by 1. Obviously, I could discard Eowyn to avoid my threat going up, or I could just play Elrond's Council, drop my threat by 3, and get +1 willpower. I can't complete gather information this round, so I think I probably want to just leave it at that. Travel to the Starlit Sea. Yes, obviously there is not an unguarded objective in the staging area, so the siege ship will not be doing anything. The light cruiser is boarding 2. That would be tough to deal with. The siege ship. Okay. I might want to engage the scouting ship. There's quite a bit of threat in the staging area. I could do with there being a bit less. So yeah, so let's engage the scouting ship. Boarding 1, Control Shift E gets me an Umbar Raider. Gets +1 attack for each resource on it. After he attacks you, move 1 resource from one of your hero's resource pools to Umbar Raider. Okay, in the combat phase, deal these shadow cards. There is Archery 2, which I am going to put 1 on the Honor Guard, and we'll have 1 over here on Biffa. Obviously Bjorn will defend against the Umbar Raider. Okay, so he's attacking for 3. Bjorn takes 2 damage, and Nasia's resource is stolen. The scouting ship, obviously as a ship, it can only be defended by ships. So, okay, I could take it undefended. The damage would go on the Silverwing. It's obviously its hit points cannot be replenished, but in the long run I don't expect it to take too many hits, so just let it take 1 early, and then the Silverwing and Bjorn together attack for enough to take down the scouting ship. On the other hand, if I just defend with the Silverwing, then it'll take less damage, and Bjorn can just take out the Umbar Raider. Or I suppose I could take it undefended, Bjorn takes out the Umbar Raider, and Silverwing does damage to the scouting ship, but that, I don't think that's going to be the best option. So obviously the thing is, I have more ways of defending against the Corsairs than I do against the ships, but so in that respect it potentially makes sense to take out the ship so that it's then easier for me to engage another ship potentially next round. So yeah, I suppose on those grounds I take this undefended, deal 5 damage to Silverwing, and then I attack for 10, taking out the scouting ship. Shadow card is discarded, the Umbar Raider is still here, and that's it for the round. Control N. Extra draw here for Kierdan. Oh, okay. I mean, double back is nice, but I would like to be drawing more cards. Although I don't know how many more cards I'll be drawing imminently. Well, no, yeah, okay, I'm going to discard double back. Exhaust Steward of Gondor to get more resources on Boromir. And let's play Darren's Runes. Okay, I discard Elrond's Council, and then I play the Deep Knowledge that I just drew. Doom 2, each deck draws 2. Of course, I am doing all of this in the resource phase, so I can play Captain's Wisdom if I want. I'm not entirely sure if I want to or not, because at this point I may well want to engage another enemy, and so I want all my attack available, although I will have still a decent amount of it available, even with Boromir exhausted. So, yeah, I'm going to play Captain's Wisdom. Exhausting Boromir to add 2 more resources. And now we're definitely into the planning phase. Okay. Since I'm not going to be drawing anymore, I know that I'm not going to get anything really out of this tactics resource, so I'm going to transfer it to Bifur. So, do I want the Warden of Healing or the Minstrel? I suppose I want the Minstrel. Search the top 5 cards of my deck for an event. There we go, Test of Will. It's just what I want. And shuffle, and now I don't have to worry about saving a resource for the Test of Will because I can get one from a Pelagia ship captain. So the question is, do I now play the Wandering Took for an extra character in play, or the Unexpected Courage for a bit more in the way of combat abilities over here? think I'm going to put the Unexpected Courage onto Boromir. And exhaust it to ready him. So now, over here... What's the threat in the staging area looking like? 2, 6, 9. So I'm definitely playing this Pelargir ship captain. And moving a resource to a spirit hero so that I have a test of will available. Now, if I move Nasia's resource and then play Visionary Leadership, then I have a bit more willpower available in the form of the ship captains. If I just play another ship captain, I can move Boromir's resource and then potentially just play another ship captain. Yeah, no, I think I want at least the option of the willpower. So, on the assumption that I'm not going to be spending that last resource anymore, or if I do, then I will just have to remember at that point to subtract the willpower and attack. Oh, that was... I just like to have willpower and attack in the right order. Okay, so sailing. I do want to make sure that I'm sailing okay, so we'll send 4. But this time I'm holding back the Dream Chaser to defend against ships that this deck may be engaging. 3, 4, there we go. So I'm still on course. Questing to gather information again. 4, 8, 10. 14. Still not great, but let's go. Okay, Cobas Haven. While it's the active location, reduce the boarding X value on each ship enemy by 1. And ramming speed. If you're off course, I'm not off course, so blah blah blah. If no attack is made as a result of this effect, ramming speed gains doomed 2. So that's just doomed 2 and nothing else. So I've added 2 threat to the staging area. I'm making 3 progress. That's still not enough to explore gather information, even if both decks discard to Eowyn. I suppose if I hadn't discarded that Elrond's Council earlier, but then I wouldn't have had the extra cards from Deep Knowledge. So I explore the Starlit Sea and take control of the Seaward Tower. So that's very useful. However, at the end of the quest phase, the siege ship is not guarding an objective, so it will then guard the Seaward Tower. But never mind, let's travel to Cobas Haven. And now, of course, the siege ship has no boarding. So if I want to take advantage of the benefit of being at Cobas Haven, which I definitely do, it is definitely time to engage the light cruiser. Also, gets 4 threat out of the staging area, which will be a great help. So, boarding 2 is reduced to boarding 1 by Cobas Haven. Raid leader. Okay. So, because of light cruiser, he enters play with 1 resource, and then when he engages you, move 1 resource from each of your hero's resource pools to raid leader. So no attack boost on the Honor Guard. Not that I was planning on attacking with it. So, okay, deal out these shadow cards. The Dream Chaser will defend against the Light Cruiser. If the attacking enemy is a raider, it is not. Dream Chaser takes 2 damage. Now I have a 5 attack and a 4 attack. I have an Honor Guard at the ready, of course. I should work out what I need in terms of attack power. I want to take down the Light Cruiser, which is 12. And preferably get rid of the Raid Leader, although I suppose... Well, actually, no, I have no more resources to steal, so the Armbar Raider will remain at 4 attack. So the Raid Leader is more dangerous. The Raid Leader will take 8 to kill, because he's getting +2 defense from the resources. So 8 and 12, if I can figure that out. No, I don't think I can. How about 8 and 6, 12 and 6? That should be doable. 4, 7, 11, 12. Okay, so I cannot... So this works if I defend both of these enemies with Bjorn, and he doesn't die, and... and something else. And I don't use the Honor Guard. Yes. Okay, well, we'll see. Bjorn defends. And Bjorn defends. Moment of truth. Okay. Bjorn is tapped out. But Bjorn attacks for 6. Takes out the Armbar Raider. That's, of course, Shift Delete to send him to the special discard pile there. And then 4, 5, 8, 12. Take out the Light Cruiser. And take control of the beacon. Control N. And okay. Okay, actually, let me just rearrange these attachments slightly. So, second draw for Círdan, and obviously I discard the spare copy of Yoreth. Now exhaust Steward of Gondor. Play We Are Not Idle, draw another card, send for aid. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna... Do I want to do Gather Information or Send for Aid at this juncture? Oh, there was Archery 2 again. Which, let's just say I put it on those two. Now, there is 5 threat in the staging area. Do I, at this juncture, want to do Gather Information finally? I've been totally forgetting this effect. Those ships would have been easier to kill because they took 2 damage when they engaged. Or at least they should have taken 2 damage when engaged. And, I mean, it's a forced effect. I actually don't have a choice about it. So, the first round, I don't think it would have made a difference. I still needed Silverwing and Bjorn to take it out. Last round, though, it means I only needed 10 attack to take out the ship. Which could have been Bjorn and Silverwing, and then I could have done 3, 7, 8 to take out the raid leader instead of taking out the other guy. Or I could have then just taken out the other guy and actually used the Honor Guard to cancel 1 point of damage to Bjorn from one of those attacks. I think of those options, I'm going to go with this one. So he had 1 resource on him. Now, okay, there is 5 threat in the staging area, as I said. So the next question is, do I want to do gather information, or do I want to do send for aid? Because if I'm not going to do send for aid immediately, then I don't need to play it immediately. But obviously, if I do want to do it immediately, then I have to play it immediately. So, okay, this deck is sailing, and I can play this ship captain and sail for 4 without using the Dream Chaser. Or maybe 5. So that would be fine. And then questing 4, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15. I wouldn't be super confident in getting through send for aid. Gather information is more plausible, although it's still maybe a bit of a reach. So in that case, I'll just play the ship captain and transfer a resource. Obviously I want to keep the resource on Boromir, so let's move Bjorn's resource. And yeah, I'm going to play this Wandering Took and then immediately move it over here. Lower this deck's threat. Well, yes. Lower this deck's threat by 3. Raise this deck's threat by 3. And see, that unexpected courage actually could be really useful, but no, I think I'll cope. I'm going to transfer this resource to Biffa and then play the Warden of Healing. So, now, sailing. Wandering Took, of course. And all these guys. So I'm sailing for 5. There we go, for 5. No, it's just best to be sure in this context. So, questing now 4, 8, 10. I have no law resource to trigger her, so she may as well quest. 11, 13, 14, 16. Keeping the Warden of Healing up, though. So that was 16, 10, 11, 13, 14, 16, yep. 16 willpower against 5 threat. Belfalas Islet. You cannot travel to Belfalas Islet if you are off course. Response: after you travel to Belfalas Islet, choose a ship enemy that is not guarding an objective. While it's the active location, the chosen enemy is considered to be out of play. And Battle Hardened. Place one resource on each raider enemy in play. Each engaged non-ship enemy makes an immediate attack. If there are no engaged non-ship enemies, gains Surge. Well, I would rather not. So let's cancel that. I've only added one threat to the staging area, so I make 10 progress. So I guess I would actually have been able to explore Send for Aid on that logic, but never mind. I do explore Gather Information. So, search all cards. Now let's see, Gandalf could be really useful. That last Captain's Wisdom wouldn't go amiss. Heir of Mardil, extra readying. Or a Feint. I think maybe just grab the Feint. Obviously I can't play it this round, but for future emergencies. Probably. Or, you know, Captain's Wisdom. Just to keep pumping out those resources. I'm going to take the Captain's Wisdom, also because there's only one Captain's Wisdom left. The other things I was considering, there are 3 copies left of each. And over here, okay, maybe I should grab another Test of Will just to be safe, or Deep Knowledge. Yeah, it's gonna be Deep Knowledge. Which I'm then going to play immediately. And okay, remember to actually draw the cards and not just raise my threat for no reason. Okay, and now we travel to the Belfalas Islet, and I can consider the Raider flagship to be out of play, while Belfalas Islet is the active location. And now engage the siege ship. Remember to trigger the forced effect, dealing 2 damage to it because I'm on course. It has no boarding. So, okay, shadow cards. The Dream Chaser defends against the siege ship. There is 2 points of archery. So 1 on the Wandering Took and 1 on the ship captain. So if you are off course, I am not, so Dream Chaser just takes 1 damage. And now I need to defend the Umbar Raider, so Boromir will do it. Okay, he takes 2 damage and his resource is stolen. So now let's exhaust Warden of Healing to heal Boromir and 1 ship captain. Now, yep, 4, 8, 11. Takes out the siege ship. I take control of the Seaward Tower. 6 attack from beyond, takes out the Umbar Raider. For the moment, the board is completely clear. Control N. And I will discard the Everall Record Keeper to clear down there. And of course, I'm going to use Captain's Wisdom here. In the resource phase to get 2 extra resources. And also train Student Gondor. Okay. Now, Let's see, that unexpected courage is definitely a good idea. Going to put this one on Nasir. I did not mean to exhaust that. That was an accidental double click. I mean, the healing is going to start getting under control, hopefully, just with the one Warden, so I could go for Glare Wine. It depends on how I feel about my resources over here. So I definitely want to play Send for Aid. And then... I have no means of transferring a resource to Beyond, so I cannot play these Defenders of Ramas, but it might be nice to hold on to the resource to play one next round, which means I can't afford the beacon right now, but I can send a resource to Biffa and also play this Squire of the Citadel. And we'll just go with that. Which means, because of course I could have planned this out in advance, let's take Glare Wine rather than the Warden of Healing at this point, and exhaust him to have this deck draw cards. Test of Will, just what I was looking for. Staging area is empty. I get to look at 2 additional cards for this sailing test. So let's send 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to send the Wandering Took back. Okay, this mouse is being weird. It's sometimes double clicking when I'm only single clicking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 3, 4, 5. We are fine. So now questing against an empty staging area. 4, 8, 10, 12, 14. I do want to make 11 progress, so sending a bit more seems reasonable. 16, 18. And we reveal Siege Ship and Corsair Skirmisher. Okay. So that's 5 threat added to the staging area, 13 progress. So Belfast Islet is explored, it goes to the victory display. The Raider flagship is back, and Send for Aid is also explored, it goes to the victory display. Each deck searches top 10 cards. Okay, well, I'm going to take Gandalf. I'll decide about his enters play effect in a minute. I'm going to do this one first. Okay, so here I think it's got to be the extra Warden of Healing. So now, Gandalf's enters play effect. I'm not super bothered about my threat right now. I should hopefully be able to find other Gandalfs when it gets higher. And I don't necessarily mind getting into Valor because of Horn's Cry being a thing. I'm just going to draw 3 cards. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I can work with this. So, at the end of the quest phase, the siege ship is going to start guarding an objective. And yeah, I want the Corsair skirmisher over here, so I'm not going to be able to do anything about that. Okay, I didn't think about that, but actually I could have used Gandalf to deal damage to the Corsair skirmisher, and then it would have been destroyed immediately on engaging. But it's fine. So, I have plenty of allies to sail with, so I'm going to stick the Seaward Tower under the siege ship, and then I'm going to engage the Corsair skirmisher. It takes 2 damage from the forced effect. Boarding 1. Okay, this guy's not a problem. We have archery 2. So let's go 1. Oh no, sorry. Obviously we put both points of archery on Gandalf. Now, I am going. Oh no, I'm not in Valor. This whole plan of mine was predicated on me being in Valor. Because it's to do with rallying cry and the response on the Corsair skirmisher, because I could potentially discard allies but just return them to my hand using rallying cry, but that requires me to be in Valor for it to work. It's fine though. Things are looking pretty solid at this point. So I think I'll just leave the Corsair skirmisher alive so that I can do it next round, because I do want to pull this off. That being the case, Gandalf will defend against the Sailor. The Dream Chaser will defend against the Skirmisher. Okay, so I want to try and reduce the Skirmisher to 1 hit point. So I want to attack it for 7. It's fine, 3, 7. And let's just have Bjorn massively overkill the Sailor. Exhaust my 2 Wardens of Healing to heal Boromir, and these 2. And the Honor Guard. And that's it. Gandalf is discarded at the end of the round. Control N. Okay, found another gather information. Here we get the extra draw, discard the envoy. Okay, so let's play gather information. I'm not actually entirely sure if I'm going to go for it at this point. Move the Wandering Took back. See, my usual mouse isn't working normally, so I plugged in a different one and it's being weird. Right, so I want to work this out. because, I mean, if need be, I could destroy a square of the Citadel with archery to get a resource back, because that's crucial. So the whole thing with Rallying Cry, I can use its Valor action, so until the end of the phase, add each ally that leaves place to its owner's hand instead of placing it in the discard pile. So I can use that to allow me to take control of the Corsair Skirmisher without permanently losing allies, because I can just return them to my hand and play them again on a subsequent round. And also, with Visionary Leadership, because its response after it's destroyed as an enemy, the engaged player may discard allies he controls with a total of at least 3 willpower to take control of Corsair Skirmisher as a ship objective with willpower equal to its threat. It loses the ship enemy card type and gains the ship objective card type. So, with Visionary Leadership, I can discard allies with less willpower, because their willpower is boosted. So, I can take advantage of that to not lose as much willpower, and then be able to play it again on a subsequent round. It's a nice little combo that I'm quite pleased with. So, the thing is, Boromir needs to have at least 3 resources left come the combat phase for that whole thing to work. Now, I'm currently holding back on Steward of Gondor, because I could play Heir of Mardil, and then Steward could be used to ready Boromir. Yeah, I think actually I do want to do Gather Information. Yeah, but obviously Heir of Mardil, it's not exactly required that I get that in right away. I might want to use the beacon at this point. I think I'm okay for actions at this point, so let's just exhaust Steward. And just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 take control of a Dol Amroth warship. So, there is 5 threat in the staging area. I'm questing to gather information, but first sailing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. That 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously totally fine. Questing for 4, 8, 10. Oh, I totally forgot about Glare-Wine. I also forgot about this deck's planning. So, play Arwen. And leave it at that. So my questing, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17. 17 against 5. Taking on water. Attached to a ship objective. Cancels a condition attachment with text. Forced when attached enemy. When attached objective exhausts. Deal 2 damage to it. Action exhausts 3 characters you control to discard. Taking on water. I will attach it to the Silverwing. And not exhaust it. Oh, Dol Amroth warship I didn't actually read, of course. 2228. Immune to player card effects. If you are on course, it gets +2 willpower, +2 attack, and +2 defense. And forced when Dol Amroth warship is destroyed, set it aside out of play. Which, of course, is where it came from in the first place. So that is a thing. If these are destroyed, I can just get them back from the beacon again. But, okay, so Right, I revealed taking on water. Ramming speed. If you are off course, I am not off course. So this is just doomed 2. I'll take it. So I've added no threat to the staging area. Everything is looking pretty reasonable. I explore, gather information. If I hadn't already discarded double back from the second deck, that is definitely what I would be taking. As it is, take Gandalf because that's the threat reduction for this deck. Preferably with sneak attacks, but of course I've already discarded 1 Gandalf and still have all 3 sneak attacks left in the deck. Over here, could take Scout Ahead, it being my final side quest. I suppose I could take a Handmaiden. They can be used to drop the threat of this deck. Everything else seems pretty reasonable. So let's take the Handmaiden. Okay, and now I engage the siege ship. It takes 2 damage. Doesn't have any boarding. Does have archery 2. So, put 1 there, and 1 on the honor guard. And now, okay. The Dream Chaser will defend against the siege ship. No shadow effect there. The Dal'Amoth warship will defend against the Corsair Skirmisher. Oh, I exhaust the honor guard to cancel the 1 damage to the Dream Chaser. Attacking enemy gets +1/+2 if you control an exhausted ship, which I do. So +2, it takes 2 damage. That's fine. Now, it takes 5 to take out this, and 10 for this one. I would like to avoid... Oh, right, yes. It's fine. So, Bjorn attacks the Corsair Skirmisher. It is destroyed as an enemy. Oh, I, of course, first play Rallying Cry. Valor action. Until the end of the phase, add each ally that leaves play to its owner's hand instead of placing it in the discard pile. So, I trigger the response. I discard allies with a total of at least 3 willpower. So, 2, 3. But because of Rallying Cry, I return them to my hand. And because the Squire of the Citadel left play, I add a resource back to Boromir. And now I take control of the Corsair Skirmisher, which I can now use to attack for 4, 7, 11, taking out the siege ship, taking control of the Seaward Tower again. Heal up. And there we go. Now I'm pretty set to just blast through the rest of the quest, I think. Don't have the 3 characters to remove taking on water. Exhausted. Second draw for Círdan. Discard for Círdan. I'll discard the trader. Play the record keeper. And play Handmaiden, and I am actually going to just drop this dex threat because I can just move the Wandering Took back, which I think I will do. Well, no. Not yet. But if the threat does start becoming an issue. So, I don't want to trigger the beacon again this round. Let's play an envoy, adding resource back to Boromir. Ship captain, moving resource from Boromir to Bjorn, and a defender of Ramas. Okay, so sailing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do keep checking this because if I'm remembering the rules correctly, if there aren't enough cards to discard, you have to shuffle the discard pile in before... Okay, it doesn't actually say on there. But as I recall, you have to shuffle the discard pile back in before discarding, rather than discarding the remaining cards and then shuffling. So, yes, sailing for 5. That's fine. And main quest, finally. Arwen will be targeting Narcia, unless I say otherwise. 12, 14, 18 against 3. Belfast Islet. Heavy Cruiser. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Dol Amroth objective and add it to the staging area, then attach Heavy Cruiser to that objective, guarding it. Shuffle the encounter deck. Okay. So... I guess I'll take the Tower of the Gull. And... Okay, so that has added 6 threat to the staging area. I am making 9 progress, which is actually not enough, but I can play Elrond's Council. So I advance the quest. The Corsair fleet seems to be attacking multiple key locations simultaneously. To stop the attack, you must defend Dol Amroth from the Corsair ships. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a ship enemy and add it to the staging area. 2 ship enemies instead if there are 3 or more players in the game. Shuffle the encounter deck for each unguarded objective in the staging area. Attach a non-unique ship enemy in the staging area to that objective, guarding it. So I need to grab a ship. I'm going to grab the other Corsair Skirmisher out of the discard pile. And attach an objective to it. So let's stick the Seaward Tower there. So here's a thing that I'm not clear on. Can one of the ships end up guarding 2 objectives? Do I now attach the beacon as well? I guess... I mean, obviously if I don't, then if I don't attach it and then I just don't use it, then it doesn't matter. But I guess just to be sure, I'm just going to attach them both to the Corsair Skirmisher. And now I will travel to the Bellflower's Islet and pretend that the Raider flagship isn't there. Now I will optionally engage the Corsair Skirmisher here. Boarding 2. Oh no, sorry, boarding 1, but then I also engage the heavy cruiser naturally, which is boarding 2. But technically, sequentially, I get boarding 1, boarding 2. So this is after the engaged player collects resources at the beginning of the resource phase, so it doesn't trigger anything right now. This is discard an attachment you control. So I guess I'm going to discard... Do I discard visionary? Do I discard an unexpected courage? Because obviously, if you're technically, I haven't seen this yet. Because visionary leadership would tie into my plan to get the Corsair Skirmisher. So, although I have a bunch of stuff to deal with, so maybe put it off anyway. Yeah, I think I need all the actions I can get, so I discard visionary leadership. And then, of course, the raid leader steals my resources anyway, so visionary leadership wouldn't be active in any case. And I also can't afford to play Horn's Cry, which is unfortunate because this would be a great time for it. So, okay. No archery. Nasia is at 3 defense. So, she will defend against the raid leader. The attacking enemy is a raider, plays 2 resources on it. Okay. And she will spend this... Actually, you know, I have plenty of healing. She's going to take the damage. Save the resource for potentially boosting her attack instead. Okay, 7 attack, 4 attack. The Dream Chaser will defend against the heavy cruiser. Takes 3 damage. Okay, so Cunning Pirate is 4 attack and 4 defense. Of course, our Infiltrator is 3 attack. So let's have Boromir take this guy, he takes 2 damage. Defender of Ramos takes this guy, no damage. And the Corsair Skirmisher has to be defended by a ship. So I'll defend it with the Dol Amroth warship. If you're off course, I'm not. Okay. Now, many attacks need to be done. I don't have Visionary Leadership active right now. So I possibly want to just leave the Corsair Skirmisher for next round. I didn't flip this over. Sailing. If your current heralding is at the worst setting, raid of flagship gets minus 50 engagement cost. You cannot advance while at least one objective is guarded by an encounter. So, to take out the raid leader would take 10 attack. To take out the cunning pirate would take 8 attack. To take out the heavy cruiser, 13. And the Corsair infiltrator, 5. I don't have all these attack boosts either. Which I suppose means I could have cancelled the damage. So I should have cancelled the damage to, say, Boromir. Not that it matters, because I have 2 Wardens of Healing with nothing else to do. So it doesn't matter either way. Okay, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes out the Corsair Infiltrator. That's simple. I'm actually pretty good on ships, so I don't have to be too worried if I can't kill the heavy cruiser. I'm potentially more worried about these high attacks. These high attack non-ships. Though, of course, my ships can't attack anything except other ships. Let's see, Nausea could be 5 attack. So, say 5-9 could take out the cunning pirate, or 5-11 could take out the raid leader. Maybe I shouldn't have. Okay, no, because it's potentially very significant that I try to get the most possible out of this. I do want this guy dead, because he will steal my resources as I'm gaining them, whereas these guys will not get any more of my resources than they already have. But having a bunch of 1s means I can more efficiently distribute my attacks. So, yeah, so like it's more efficient to just go 4-5. And then... So then, like, if I want 8 attack just to kill this guy specifically, I could go 3, spend a resource 5, 6, 7, 8. Or, you know, if I have any of these guys left over, I might be able to remove taking on water, but I'm not super concerned about it. So, right, yeah. 10 to take out the raid leader. 8. Right, I cannot take out both of these Corsairs. 13 to take out the heavy cruiser. Including Silverwing, I could do that. 5, 9, 13, exactly. So 6, 7, 8. takes out the cunning pirate. I suppose actually I don't need to spend that resource. 3, 4, 5, 9, taking 2 damage from taking on water. 13 takes out the heavy cruiser. I take control of the Tower of the Gull and exhaust it to deal 2 damage to the Corsair Skirmisher. Discard these shadow cards. And control N. Alright. Exhaust Steward. Extra draw from Círdan. I'll discard the Envoy because I can shuffle it back in with the Weaver that I just drew. Okay, so it is very important to me that I put Visionary Leadership back. And that is all. Over here, we pay 1 for a Weaver, shuffle the Envoy back into the deck, and play another Warden. And now, sailing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, okay. I've actually gone off course for the first time. But never mind. Okay, questing. 4, 8, 10. Forgot about Glare-Wine. Sneak attack, okay. So 12, 17, 19, 20, 21. Against an empty staging area, reveal the Tower of the Heron, which is guarded by Starlit Sea, and a siege ship. Okay. 5, so I make 16 progress. 5 here. 11 here. Raider flagship is back, and at the end of the quest phase, the siege ship will start guarding the Tower of the Gull. Obviously, I have to travel to the Starlit Sea. Okay, so we're getting to the point where I kind of want to be dealing with the Raider flagship, potentially. But also I have to deal with this siege ship because it's taken an objective. And obviously I also don't know what the flagship might do to me with boarding, in terms of stealing my resources. Although, how many raid leaders are there? It might well be only 2, and they're the only really bad bits of boarding. So I kind of want to take out the flagship. And it's possible... It's possible if I don't go for it now, I may not get the chance just because of how the quest will end up playing out. So I'm going to engage the flagship. Boarding 1, and at the end of the encounter phase. Okay, so shadow cards. Oh, only 1 shadow card. That is really nice. Everything gets to be predictable. So, now, I'm in Valor. I'm going to pay 2 for Horn's Cry. Choose a player. This player, obviously. Each enemy engaged with that player gets -3 attack until the end of the phase. So, the Raid Flagship is immune to player card effects, so it's still attacking for 5. But 0, 0, 2, 1. Okay. The Empire Raider is going to take a resource from me. Never mind though. So, undefended, takes a resource afterwards, but attacks for 0. Undefended, does nothing. Attacking for 2. Defend it with Defender of Ramos. Actually, no. Oh, also I have Archery 2 that I have to assign. So, 1, 2. The Corsair Skirmisher, I will take undefended for 1. Deal it to a ship objective I control. Actually, no. I'll just cancel that 1 point of damage. Defender of Ramos can defend against the raid leader. And now the Dream Chaser defends against the Raider Flagship. The heading is at the worst setting. It is not. So, now the Raider Flagship can only be attacked by ships. Okay, how much will it take to take out the Skirmisher? 8. This is a little on the frustrating side. And this doesn't work out neatly. But, well, it's fine. So, okay, 4, 8. I'm just not worrying about taking on water. Takes out the Corsair Skirmisher. I'm going to discard Wandering Took and park a Ship Captain. Let's take control of the Corsair Skirmisher, and also, of course, the Seaward Tower and the Beacon. Now, oh wait, I'm not on course, so Dal Amroth warship is only 2 attack. Well, it should still work out. 2, 6, 10. Deal 7 damage to the flagship. I really want this raid leader dead, so... maybe it's 10. 10. And now let's sneak attack Gandalf. You know, I was thinking of lowering my threat, but just in the interests of efficiency, it may be better to nuke the Umbar Raider. It's a shame Nasir didn't have a resource left over. Oh, whatever, I can probably take the extra attack. So, lower my threat by 5. And then Nasir and Gandalf take out the Infiltrator. Nasir will attack the Raider and deal 1 damage. Discard the Shadow card. Gandalf comes back to my hand. There is no healing to be done. Control N. Okay, an extra sneak attack, that's great. Extra draw, obviously I discard the spare Glare Wine, transfer a resource to Biffa, play this Minstrel. Search top 5 cards for an event. Daron's Runes. Shuffle. Glare Wine. Daron's Runes. Discard the Envoy. Play the Handmaiden. Drop my threat by 1. Over here, yeah, basically sneak attack is the one thing that's going to matter. I'll play this Scribe of the Citadel. Actually, yeah, let's play both Squires of the Citadel. Now, there is 2 threat in the staging area. Sailing first, of course. 1, 2, I have the Seaward Tower, but I'm currently off course, so I need to sail a bit harder. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, sailing for 9. 2, 4, 5, 6. I'm fine. 7, 8, 9. What? Okay, so apparently the card list is bound to F9, but that's also one of the keys for rotate, so that's interesting. So, yes. 2 threat in the staging area, questing for 4, 8, 10, 16. 16 is probably fine. Hold back everything else. And reveal Corsair Warship. Boarding 3, can't have attachments. And while it's in the staging area, it cannot be damaged and gains archery 4. And the Raider's Assault. Choose a ship enemy that is not currently guarding an objective. Let's cancel that. So I've added 3 threat to the staging area. I make 11 progress. 2 here and 9 here. I cannot advance because there's still one objective guarded by an encounter. So I will engage the siege ship. I do not have to engage the Corsair warship because I dropped my threat with Gandalf. At the end of the encounter phase, the Raider flagship reveals the top card of the Corsair deck and puts it into play. Engaged with me. Deals shadow cards. Now the archery total is reduced by 4 because I have the Tower of the Heron. So it's just the 2 from the siege ship and not the 4 from the Corsair warship being in the staging area. So let's just put that here. Okay, so this is what the Squires of the Citadel are for. Not, of course, it doesn't matter anyway. The Umbar Raider will take a resource from me, that's not a problem though. My heading is not at the worst setting, so I gain a resource from the Squire being killed, and then it is stolen by the Umbar Raider. Okay, the Dream Chaser will defend against the Raider flagship. Take 1 damage. I'll take the siege ship undefended. Again, gets +1, +2 instead if you control an exhausted ship objective. So that's just +1. I exhaust and discard the Honor Guard for its Valor response, cancel 5 points of damage, so I only take 1. Now, the Umbar Captain. While you are engaged with Umbar Captain, characters you control cannot attack ship enemies. Sneak attack Gandalf. Okay, let me work this out. I need 12. That's fine. Yeah, at this point I may as well just lower my threat for a better score. So, it takes 8 to kill this. So 4, 8. Now my characters can attack ships. So 3, 9, 13 takes out the siege ship. Oh no, wait. Well, yeah. I take control of the Tower of the Gull. I can now advance the quest, and I have enough progress, so I advance the quest. You have to go after here, Imrahil yells as the battle rages on. We will finish this fight. When revealed, the players make engagement checks against each enemy in the staging area. Raid a flagship gets minus 50 engagement cost during these engagement checks. Sailing, raid a flagship gets minus 50 engagement cost. Break through the fleet has plus 5 quest points for each ship enemy in play. If this stage is defeated, or if raid a flagship is in the victory display, the players have broken through the Corsair fleet and win the game. It's still a combat phase. I am on course, so the Arnor warship is 4 attack. 4, 8, 12, 16. Deals 13 damage to the raider flagship. And it is destroyed. Placed in the victory display. The raider flagship is in the victory display, and therefore I win the quest. Obviously I could have actually done it the other way around. I could have destroyed the flagship first and then destroyed the siege ship, so I would have just advanced the quest and instantly won. Yeah. And so that is a storm on Cobas Haven. Obviously a lot of players, when they play this quest, will end up just focusing on sailing and questing, get the Seaward Tower so they can sail more easily, stay on course, quest hard, don't engage too many ships, and just quest through the final stage. But there's a lot of interest to be had in actually engaging with the ship battle. It's usually something you do more at a higher player count, I would say, because, I mean, for one thing, Silver Wing is potentially very significant to that, because the extra attack helps your heroes take out ships. The fact that Silver Wing itself is 4 attack and ranged is potentially relevant, especially with more players. And obviously also more players, you're more likely to see the other objectives. It's fairly rare in just 2-player to get all 4 objectives, I would say. So I did it here. But yeah, because obviously if you get the beacon, get at least one Arnor warship. And I mean, the thing is also, you have to realise that the raider flagship, obviously if you are able to deal with boarding one and the forced effect revealing an extra Corsair each time, as well as whatever other enemies you're taking on, it's easy to look at only ship objectives can be declared as attackers against raider flagship and think it's going to be really difficult to take that out. But in practice, you have the Silver Wing, it's 4 attack. So if you get any 2 out of the Arnor warships and the Corsair skirmishers, so if you get both skirmishers, 1 skirmisher, 1 warship, both warships, and you're on course in the case of the warships, that's relevant, then you have 3 ships that attack for 4, for a total of 12, which will deal 9 damage, which means you can kill the flagship in 2 rounds. It's theoretically possible to... It's theoretically possible, but unlikely that you could reach the point of being able to take out the flagship in 1 round. Because, obviously, since Since the Silver Wing is ranged, you could add it to another deck's attack power, so Dream Chaser attacks for 4, 2 skirmishers for 4, 2 warships for 4. That's a total of 24, which would actually take out the Raider flagship in 1 hit. That is much more difficult to achieve, but getting to the point where you can take it out in 2 rounds is actually very plausible. Especially if the game goes on for a while, and this game actually didn't go on for that long. We're only on round 8. Given the amount of time I spent faffing about doing side quests at the start, that's kind of impressive. But of course, it's also the thing that if you take out the flagship, then you basically skip the 3rd quest stage and instantly win. Which is why it ends up... It feels like you're taking a while, but you're just taking a while on the first 2 quest stages because the 3rd quest stage ends up not existing. Whereas if you go for a more questing focused strategy, then you potentially spend less time on the first 2 stages, but a bit more on the 3rd, and it evens out. Anyway, that is a storm on Cobas Haven. If you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Next up is City of Corsairs to finish out the cycle. Thank you for watching.